Good morning. It is a beautiful day here at G&G Farms. As you can see, the sun is shining. It's a little bit cool, so I've got on some sleeves this morning. I've been out and I've done my chores and came in, but it's a much better day for me than yesterday. Night before last, I was woke up in the middle of the night and there was a dog on my porch. Now, thank goodness he came in front of the house because the security camera did catch him. But if he had been at the chicken yard, or if it had been like the previous coyote or foxes that just ripped through my chicken yard and killed some of my babies, there would have been nothing I could have done because I clearly would not have heard it. And so, since we are in the middle of nowhere and, we're trying to cohabitate with wildlife, so to speak, and of course, the neighbors are down the road a bit, but the closest ones, but their dogs still sometimes come at night. And we just don't know it unless they come in front of our cameras. We don't know if they're at the chicken yard. Now, we put the chicken yard close to the house so that we could protect them better. And I have found that that's not always possible because I can't hear anything when I'm asleep, and the doors are all locked up for the night. I just don't hear anything out here. I just can't hear through the walls. So things have happened in the past. So I went to Tony because it had become an issue with, dogs coming up and wildlife coming up. And I just really want to protect the babies out there. So I went to Tony and I said, hey, I've got a problem. Can we come up with a plan, a solution to our problem that I will know if something is at the chicken yard messing with the chickens? And he said, I've got a plan. Now, when Tony Green has a plan, it's coming to be. I mean, he's going to work on it right then. So I'm going to turn this video over to Tony and let him explain how we can be on G&G Farms a no harm, no kill predator control for the chickens.
Good morning, folks. This is Tony from G&G Farms. So Kat and I have a new predator that has started coming around the farm. We've got pictures of him a couple of times on different type game cams and cellular cams. And not only have we got pictures of a new predator, which is a fox, we saw him, like I said, we saw him on camera a couple of times. We have finally got a picture of him in the yard. So at this point in time, we both know that he's going to try to get into the chicken pen. And once he does, a predator like that wreaks havoc on your chickens. You spend a lot of time and a lot of money raising your flock, whether your flock's 1 chicken or your flock's 20 chickens. And you definitely don't want to see something like a fox or a coyote or a bobcat or something like that just get in and kill your chickens. They don't know when to quit. So we're going to have to do something about it. And not only do we have a fox, but we also have a couple of neighborhood dogs that have been coming around in the middle of the night too. And we have several pictures of them. So we have come up with a way that we can run the fox off and run the 2 neighborhood house dogs off without having to call the neighbor or without having to dispatch the fox, because that's the last thing you want to do is have to take something's life. But you can't just let stuff tear everything you own up. So me and Kat, we've come up with a plan. So I told you that Kat and myself, we have a plan. So let me take just a few minutes and tell you what the plan is. And I am going to put this thing together and we're going to mount it out by the chicken pen. So I told you that we had predators, and the predators are coming at nighttime trying to get into the chicken pen or walking around the chicken pen. So we thought, what is it that we could do to keep from having to do things that we didn't want to do and dispatch a fox or dispatch a coyote? So what are other options that we could have? We have devised a plan. Instead of building a trap to trap the animal with, let's build an alarm that will scare the fire out of a coyote or scare the fire out of a fox, or maybe even a neighborhood dog that's messing around the chicken pen. So Kat went on Amazon, and did you guys know that on Amazon you can literally buy a SCU bell? This is a 120 volt AC bell. 120 volts AC is the same voltage that's at your wall plugs inside your home. So I could wire a SCU bell to a wall plug and plug it in, and that SCU bell go off. The only bad thing is the SCU bell don't stop going off. It'll ring and ring and ring until it burns the bell up. So we needed some way to make the bell come on when we wanted to and cut off when we wanted to. So if you guys have floodlights outside your house, like most people do, and we do too, but if you have floodlights outside your house, those floodlights are turned on by a motion sensor. That means if anything walks in front of it, or somebody walks in front of it, or some type of animal, a switch inside of that motion sensor detects movement and boom, turns the lights on. Also, not only can you buy a SCU bell from Amazon, but you can also buy motion sensors from Amazon. So I've decided to take a motion sensor and wire it to a SCU bell. That way, as soon as something walks in front of this motion sensor, it'll set this SCU bell off. So this SCU bell is some more kind of loud, and it's definitely going to run off anything that walks in front of this motion sensor. And I tell you something funny about the motion sensor. The motion sensor itself also comes with a photocell. Can you guys see that little white dot right here on the bottom side? What this photocell does is it does not give voltage to the motion sensor, or it doesn't feed a circuit to the motion sensor until it gets dark. So during the daytime, you can walk past this motion sensor all day and it never set off the SCU bell. The motion sensor doesn't even work until it gets dark. And once it gets dark, then that little photocell determines that there's not enough light outside anymore and that it's dark, and it closes a little switch inside the photocell. When it closes that switch, now it sends power up to the motion sensor. Once I get power on one side of the motion sensor, it's sitting there waiting. So at that point in time, as soon as something walks past the motion sensor or something down here moves below the motion sensor, it closes a switch inside the motion sensor and sends voltage to the SCU bell, and all the world comes unwound at that point in time. Regardless what it is that walks in front of this motion sensor, when that SCU bell goes off, it's going to scare the fire out of everything that's outside that chicken pen. So Kat asked me, she said, Tony, won't that bell scare the chickens? I said, probably so. But you know what? You have to look at the big picture. I may scare the chickens and I may scare the turkeys, but in a few seconds, the bell's going to quit ringing and everybody inside the chicken pen or the turkey pen, they're going to calm back down. But whatever animal walked in front of that motion sensor and set that SCU bell off, I scared the fire out of him. This thing is still running down the driveway, or it's running out across the woods, and it's doing all that it can to get away from here. So in the big picture, I kind of guess that you're probably going to scare the chickens, but the chickens will still be alive. In the morning when you get up, the worst thing that happened is you scared the chickens a little bit, but all of your chickens are still alive. Everybody's still in the pen, and you terrorized whatever it was that come up there and tried to get inside your chicken pen. At the end of the day, this is what I want to say about that. Nothing had to lose its life in order for me to run it off. I didn't have to trap anything, and I didn't have to dispatch anything. And that's our goal on the farm, is let's do whatever we can do, just so that we don't have to put anything down, or we don't have to dispatch anything. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I'm going to put this thing together, and I'm going to get it wired, and after dark, I'm going to come back out to where the thing is set up outside the chicken pen, and I'm going to walk in front of it and let you see this photocell set off this school bell and see how the thing works. And I want you to have an opportunity to see how loud it is. So y'all stay tuned. Right after dark, I'm going to go ahead and wire it now and get it ready, and I'm going to mount it on a pole that we have out by the chicken pen. And then immediately after dark, I'm going to walk past it, and I'm going to set this thing off. So we really want to test it before we just leave it out there and say, hey, it's going to work. We want to make sure it'll work. All right. So, and I can assure you it's going to work. So you guys have a good day. Wait till dark. As soon as it gets dark, I'm going to set the bell off, and we'll all have a chance to look at it. All right. See y'all. Got the alarm mounted, and right now I left the cord a little long. I've got it plugged into a watertight box. Also, it's GFI'd, so since we have it outside, I'm going to build some type of small shed and put over it. But at this point in time, when it gets dark and the photocell closes and it activates the motion sensor, it'll be ready. As soon as something walks in front of the motion sensor, it'll set the bell off, and once it sets the bell off, it will literally scare the fire out of whatever walks in front of this thing. And we won't have to worry about trapping it. We won't have to worry about releasing it. The only thing that we'll have to do is nothing. Sit back. We'll even hear it from inside the house. And yeah, this thing is going to work beautifully. All right, we're waiting on it to get dark, and then we can see. Okay, folks, here comes the moment of truth. So the alarm is directly behind that post, and it's pointed toward the chicken pen. So let's walk around and see what happens. Oh my God. Okay, I'm standing at the chicken pen. All of them are just looking to see what that sound is. So the thing should ring for about a solid minute, and then it should cut off. Wow, I cannot believe how well that's working. Okay. While it's making all that noise, I'm going to lock the chickens up. It's going to cut off shortly. So just wanted you guys to see that, hey, we got a chicken pen alarm. All right, guys, y'all have a good evening.